basically doing a whitetail video, like my favorite whitetail match sets, deadheads and sheds for whitetails. Now, if you didn't go check out my last video, it was basically mule deers, and I did forget one thing. Honorable mentions, there's supposed to be 3. I only put 2. I don't know what I was thinking. My other honorable mention would have to be this guy, because probably my biggest shed. Really big 5-point. He has no brow tine, whatever. He has so much mass. One thing I don't like about this guy, his fronts are small. Anyways, let's get into the whitetails. Alright, at number 5 would have to be this guy. Now, I actually recently found this, not too long ago, but something happened. When I found this guy, I kind of stole it, but don't let anyone know. So basically, I'm walking over there by, like, in the south of Swift. I'm walking over there, and I'm like, I see like this thing on top of a box. I'm like, oh, that must be someone's dead head. So I go walk away, and I was gonna think in my head, I'm like, well, they didn't have any tags, you know. It's been sitting there for so long and stuff. I was like, maybe just someone sort of picked it up and just put it there, and that's actually what happened. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go take it. So I took the buck. I talked to my friend Mylan, and he told me that it was that guy's that like junkyard, the guy that owns the junkyard there. But Mylan said I could keep it, so whatever. Alright, number 4. Just wait, I have to think for a second. Okay, number 4. This guy. No, wait. Yeah. Yeah, number 4 is this guy. So basically, I didn't find this guy. My grandpa gave me this guy. He's a nice 6x5. Really like his brow tines, you know. I actually cleaned off his meat not too long ago. But, yeah, he's just really not a nice, typical buck. You know, I'd shoot him any day, so, yeah. Alright, number 3. Now, you may be thinking, how did I pick this guy? For one, it was my 3rd whitetail shed I found. 2, the one day my cousin's like, you know, let's go to my grandma's, buy some area in the coulees there, and let's go shed hunting. So he didn't find a single shed. I was sitting in the mud and just sitting there, I'm like, oh, there's a shed, so I picked it up. It was the only shed we found that day. And guess what, this isn't even my smallest shed. This is like my 4th smallest shed. Number 2. This was a really hard decision. I don't know, I couldn't pick. For number 1 and number 2, this was really hard. Number 2 would be this guy. This guy's actually bigger than number 1, so you may be thinking, why did I not pick this guy as number 1? For one, this was my 2nd whitetail I ever found. To the other guy, I'll tell you the rest later. But anyways, this guy, he's got some nice mass. That brow tine is huge. Well, I mean, that brow tine is huge, but that base is what I meant to say is huge. Look at that. Yeah, so when, what happened with this guy, it was like March, you know, snow on the ground and stuff. We're walking, Mylan walked right past, I'm like, hey Mylan, you missed the shed. This time, just from there to there sticking out, and from there to there sticking out. That's all. It was buried in the snow the rest. I was like, oh crap. And it was frozen. I was like, no! Trying to get on Mylan, finally and got it out for me. That's my number 2 buck. Alright. Oh crap. Come on, J-buck falling. And number 1 whitetail shed. This guy. He's a big... No, I'm kidding. Number 1 whitetail shed is this guy. He's a 6-point. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, that guy, he's 62 inches. This guy's 58. So, yeah, this is my first whitetail shed I ever found. The only shed we found that day. Yeah, we're going, me and Mylan are going by some old farm. All of a sudden, I'm ahead of him. All of a sudden, I see on the ground, I'm like, yeah! Mylan looks at me, and he said I skyrocketed in the air 10 feet in the air. He's got that non-typical point there. He's really fresh. Like, when we found him, there was blood on the base, there's skin ring around there. Like, look at that. You know, he's really fresh, you can see. Yeah, we found him within a week of dropping, so. And apparently the other, 2 days later, Mylan went back there, found 3 sheds that weren't there before. It's a really good whitetail area there. Yeah, he's running non-typical point there. Funny thing about this, I just want to say one thing about him. That, my friend Mylan, he has, like, every kind of whitetail. Like, all the points, except for a 6-point. And, funny thing is, my first whitetail shed is a 6-point. So every day he's like, can I have that shed? I'm like, no. Alright, some honorable mentions. This guy's an honorable mention because he's swag. I love this shit so much. Yeah, literally, all that was floating up was like that. And I was like, oh, it's just a tine. So I picked it up. That's a shed. Smallest shed I have, by the way. Alright. Another honorable mention. I don't know. All my honorable mentions for whitetails are really hard to do, but I'd say this guy probably. I found this guy in the river hills, you know. Thing I find weird about him is every single point is shoot off. Like, look, every single one. There's not a single one that's not shoot off. Weird. And then, another honorable mention. Like, honestly, doing these ones for whitetails is really hard to do. I couldn't, like, really choose. But, probably have to be this guy. Yeah, he's a nice 4-point whitetail. So, yeah. Yeah, I like this guy. But, yeah. Alright. I'm going to be next doing my wonkiest bucks, so stay tuned for that. Peace, guys.